for a person who really represents the kind of garb a Muslim woman wears from the various cultures, might have been difficult to come. So I thought, I always come when the person who is invited doesn't come. That's the kind of place I always come. The chief guest doesn't come, or somebody to God doesn't come, okay, I'll come. So I came. But you know, my dress, really, if I were to sort of summarize it, my Sri Lankan identity, my Muslimness, the fact that I work with women, first on the national level and then on the community level, the fact that women are totally different to men, and also trying very hard to translate the Quranic injunction of modesty that belongs to women into my life, especially when I act an assertive woman. You know, when you go around and you're on boards and commissions and things like that, you have to act as a woman. But at the same time, you have to assert yourself. But at the same time, you don't have to be aggressive. All of this enjoins a kind of a demeanor, a kind of an attitude which is hard. So I thought, let my dress signify that. And also, one more very human thing, I love fashion, I love style. And I found that my figure was just not being controlled by this beautiful sari. I just couldn't control it. There it was. Layers of adipose, very visible when it shouldn't be visible. What should I do? So, I designed my dress. And this was my dress. In the sense, I want to be a Muslim, but I want to be in Sri Lanka. I want to blend in with the environment. I don't want to borrow from other cultures, say the Iranian culture or the Saudi culture or the Kuwait culture, where black is common, dark blue is common, coloring the. I am not criticizing this by any means. These are all forms of dress. These are all forms of dress that express modesty. These are all, but they are not Quranic injunctions. The Quranic injunctions, which are in 2 verses, and I don't want to go into that, is what is a woman has to have the modesty. A woman is a woman. A woman has to have a femininity and a beauty. There it is. So, I adopted this dress for many reasons, and I also needed acceptance. I worked at the national level with national women. Then when I went to Muslim Ladies College, I was a Muslim by birth. I was a Muslim. My father asked me to pray. I prayed. My mother asked me to recite. I recited. I did all what they wanted to do. And everybody said perfect Muslim, but I knew I wasn't. But then I became a absolute convert to Islam in 1979. I read and I read and I read. And I thought, well, this is my religion. It's empowering me. It's liberating me. It's freedom. So unlike the kind of opinion people have. It's an oppression. Women are oppressed. Women are suppressed. You read the Quran. You look at the essence of it, you look at the spirit of it. That is the Quran that gives liberation. I'm saying all religions, I'm sure. Whether it's Buddhism, which I know very well because I taught in a Buddhist school for 19 years. Catholicism, where I had my whole education as a religion, and I almost went for communion and they said, you can't. And you can't, so I sort of sneak out. But this is my life. So having lived this kind of life, and having gloried in the pluralistic atmosphere of Sri Lanka, and having celebrated its diversity at all times, the fact that there was divisiveness coming in, even at the early stages, I said, I do need acceptance in my community. I need to work with my people in the mosque. We have no priesthood in Islam. Absolutely no priesthood. We are supposed to be married priests and we relate straight to God. But I thought I should work with the religious leaders. How do I work with them? how do I get accepted? But then I didn't have my head covered. But I always had the 3/4 sleeve. How do I get myself accepted? I needed acceptance. How do I do it? Then I thought, and I spoke to my husband, who happens to be, fortunately, my advisor and quite respected by me. So he, in fact, sort of spoke to me and said, well, you know how to design, all the whole time designing clothes, not a designing woman, but designing clothes, go ahead and do it. So I thought, okay, I wear a dress. Unfortunately, I can't disrobe here. But anyway, I wear a dress and I wear a long shawl printed. And then I have a little shawl. This I borrowed from Indonesia. I saw them wearing this tube and I thought when I feel hot, generally feel hot around it, I should be able to take it out and leave it somewhere. Because in the Quran, it doesn't say cover your head. Quran says, our head is already covered because it's a Persian Byzantine costume. Draw the ends of your scarf over your bosom because it was a decadent society. It wasn't dressed in the way it should be dressed. So for modesty, Quran says that in one verse, and in another verse, the household of the Prophet, women in the household of the Prophet were called on because they were so vulnerable and they were being harassed. Dress in this way, wear your outer clothes and be modest when you get around. You shouldn't be harassed. So these are reasons I would love to discuss this Quranic verses with you, but it gives you a sort of a whole spectrum. Jill, am I talking too much?
No, that's very good.
Being a teacher, the mic is fascinating. Coming back to what I said, this is why I designed this dress. And I found, otherwise when you don't cover your head as a Muslim, in the Sri Lankan culture, when you work around with men, I do take this off and I dare it up by using the flower on my hair. I wear the flower because it's pretty. And also because it anchors this piece on my head. So what I do is I sometimes take this off, but they feel embarrassed, especially men who are khatibs of mosques or ulamas or we are not priests, but work with me on their Friday sermons, they work with me. They're not going to come and sit and work with us if they are embarrassed. So I have to be accepted. So this is one of the reasons. And I like it. And I like it covers many things also, in the sense of grey hairs and things like that. So anyway, coming back, but it has manifold purposes. This is my dress. I like it very much because it gives me that essential essence of modesty and femininity, because often the feminist philosophy is sometimes twisted to a point that women become, sometimes we emulate masculinity, and the fact that a woman is so totally different and so powerful, and this dress, believe me, makes me, as I said before, empowered, liberated, a great sense of freedom. I can go where I want to go. I can do what I want to do. I can go, in fact sometimes I'm the only man, a woman traveling with men, but I don't feel anything like a woman. They are men. They protect me. I love the protection. But at the same time, I'm an independent woman. So, and also, all of you will realize, no harm to men. All of you will realize what a powerful entity is in your woman. Absolutely powerful. And that is the kind of power, the nurturing power that I enjoy in this dress. And the Muslimness and the Sri Lankanness always goes hand in hand, because my ambition and my goal before I die is somehow to bring back to Sri Lanka, the united country that